Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the Roguelike, and this is a really important episode, because it's the last one. We are finally done. Finally, in this finally finale. Yes, indeed, the last thing we have to make is the final boss battle of the dungeon, and I have some nefarious ideas. So, to just catch everyone up, I've been building this giant roguelike in Minecraft for about the last month or so. And the last thing left to do is the big evil boss fight at the end of it. What they have to do is find 2 key pieces in the dungeon, key piece 1 and 2, and on the final last floor in hell, they can enter these 2 key pieces into this gold door, which will open it up. And then they can jump down this hole to face a final boss battle. But unfortunately, that final boss battle doesn't exist. Yet. Now, I have seen a lot of you guys in the comments section suggesting that for the final boss fight, why don't I just use that big copper golem boss fight I made a couple months ago? I mean, after all, you know, it was a good boss fight, and he's such a cutie. But there was actually an issue with this. Number 1, it's really derivative to just reuse something I've already made. But number 2 is that this boss fight actually requires ranged projectiles to actually beat, such as a bow to hit these like target blocks up here to actually defeat him. And this is an issue because how the roguelike is made, I have no idea what equipment the player could be bringing into it, which means I have to do a best case scenario. The boss fight has to be beatable with no weapons whatsoever, just punches. Which means it was in my best interest to make a brand new boss fight entirely from scratch. Okay, not entirely from scratch, I have used some common things, but it's mostly new. Now, just like when I did my copper boss fight, I decided to outline the redstone for all of his attacks before anything else. I gotta know what I'm working with. And I was really inspired by this one room in the roguelike earlier, where the player has to run down this chain and then dodge the lava running from platform to platform. I thought this was just so creative and fun that I wanted to reuse it somehow. So this is what I've done over here. I've basically got a big platform with dispensers with lava buckets in, just like the thing before, and what I can do is when I hit this note block, I can send a pulse of a single lava column to which the player, using a jump boost beacon over there, will have to jump over the lava waves. Then obviously what I can do is basically trigger this as many times as I want in different patterns to make it easier or harder for the player. So that would be a bit difficult to jump over, but you get the idea. For another attack for the boss, and just like a more general shooty thing, I wanted to try and experiment with breezes, shooting breezes at the player. Basically, the player can walk around, and they'll have these cannons of breezes, and they'll shoot these things. And this would like combo with the lava, because you'll be trying to like jump over it, and maybe the breeze ball like knocks you about and like causes you to like fall in lava and stuff. I thought it'd be interesting. But the issue is, they have really short ranges. Like, I have to cross this green line just for him to start shooting at me. And this restricted it massively on, like, their practicality. Compare that to the humble Blaze. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Blazes have an absolutely huge range. It's this red thing over here. Compared to the Breeze, this was way more of a threat, and I much preferred it, especially considering the Blaze actually shoots multiple projectiles at you. But all this by itself was kind of, you know, whatever. The lava's kind of cool, but that's not enough. He needed one more thing, something distinct. And in comes my invention of something called a silverfish railgun. So, in case you don't know, allays have really strong natural regeneration, to the point you can actually put them on a campfire and their regeneration is so high they will never die. They will be there suffering forever. And this combos really well with one of the newer potions called the Splash Potion of Infestation. How this works is every time a mob takes damage from it, so I'll splash him now, he has a small chance of spawning a silverfish. Meaning, if you put a lot of these allays in a box, which I can quickly do by doing this, now we have a bunch of allays, we can splash them with infestation, suddenly they just start spewing out silverfish. It's actually really terrifying. I then had this idea of putting them all together in a tube like this, and then we have a dispenser over here with some wind charges. what I can then do is open up the shutters on this door here, hit this giant flesh monster. Oh my god. Hit this entire flesh monster with a wind charge, and then, I'll just show it you. Hit this button. They absolutely spew out everywhere. And if you get a good hit on it, they can actually spew out all on this lava thing over here, to which this will cause a massive disturbance to the player. And because we're going to spew it onto this thing where the lava goes, it actually also works for easy cleanup, because the lava will get rid of them. So with these three attacks, I think we can make a solid boss fight out of it. Now, we obviously can't have a boss fight without a face to put to the name. And I sort of landed on this idea over here, a sort of combination between a breeze and a wither, which kind of sucks because we're not using breezes. But he does shoot out silverfish using breeze rods, so close enough, whatever. And moving over here, we have a sort of prototype of what I think the boss fight could look like. Obviously, we have the big lava wave system in the middle and the big bad at the end. I've also added these little pillars at the side because I thought the player needs a bit of safety, like a rest period. So I thought in between jumping over the lava, maybe he could retreat to one of these pillars. Maybe when the board gets filled with silverfish, he has to rest here for a bit. And because the board is now inaccessible because it's filled with silverfish, he's actually very vulnerable to the blazes up on the head, which can now shoot down upon him. So every attack gets a way to shine. So from there, I decided to decorate it a bit more, and now we have a much better idea of what this boss battle may be like. Obviously, up top we have the health bar, but I've also added these 4 pillars around the room, and this is how we're going to defeat him. You see, obviously we can't do ranged attacks because I've already explained we can't guarantee the player's going to have a bow. So that means that I think the best way to do a boss fight is movement based. Obviously we're going to have to jump over the lava. Maybe we make him run from one end of the room to the other. So for example, you initially have to get really close to the boss fight and then jump on this pillar, jump up here, hopefully not knocked down because it's all lava down there, jump up here to where there's going to be a valve you can turn. You'll then hit this button and that will damage the boss fight in some way, and then maybe you have to get to this one, then this one, then this one. So you have to navigate across the board several times, meaning you're much more vulnerable and you have to survive for longer and longer. So moving on to that design, we move on to the final one. I've just done a bit more redstone. Don't worry, I am not going to explain it because I would rather die than explain why there's a massive comparator clock. This is what you get when you give up with redstone and decide to hard code it. This is disgusting. Don't look at it. Stop looking at it. Stop looking at it. Now, obviously, our big boss needed a name. So I decided to do what I did with my last boss fight and make a community poll and say that whoever gets the most likes is the name. And while a lot of you made a valiant effort to turn his name into my comment, where I was simply saying what his attacks were, the ultimate winner was Joey Mongham with 6,000 likes, where he decided to say, well, it's a breeze, it's a wither, why not call it the weather, as a bit of a pun on both. So that's his name. Introducing the weather. So you enter down this water stream here and you walk down this corridor. Now when you reach this wall, this is actually a one-way gate, meaning once you enter, you can't leave until the boss fight is finally defeated. And it will actually auto-activate. So if I walk in, hit this, the boss will turn on. As we can see, the health bars are lit up, and you'll see that pipe over there has lit up as well. And because the boss fight has just started up, you'll notice that lava is flowing in waves, which you'll have to jump over. Whoop, and whoop. I decided to get rid of the jump boost beacon because I thought it was a bit too easy to jump over the lava, and you know, I like making people suffer. You'll notice that one of the valves has actually lit up, and that's the valve you have to get to first. So you'll have to jump here, and then jump up here, and you'll notice you'll get really close to the blazes. Now, I'm currently really lucky because they've been closed randomly, but they will open and fire upon you, so you've got to time it correctly. But when you hit this button, this is meant to be a big pipe which sucks in lava, and because we've activated the pump, we can actually see lava getting pumped up the pipe. And where's that lava going? Oh, now it's dumping lava onto the blaze. The breeze. The breeze! Oh my god, he's just sick all over the place. Oh, the poor man. And because he's had lava dumped on his face, that's actually taken off a bit of health. And the next one has lit up over there. So then the player would have to navigate over, try and do his jumping ritual, get it. Oh, no, I would have died there. Do this one, activate this pump as well, and then that takes a bit more health off, and then another pipe activates to dump lava on him. And that's the general idea of the boss fight. One system I was actually really proud of is when the silverfish cannon actually launches, you'll notice that it stops spewing lava for a bit to let the silverfish do their thing. That was actually really hard for me to set up, but I've actually created a big gap for the silverfish. But if I activate the final pump, dumping the last lava on the thing, he will finally die. His health has ran out, and you'll notice that he has stopped producing lava. In fact, all of these mechanisms will close up, and the boss fight is over. But don't worry, because then you'll notice that the way out has now reopened. The player can simply walk back over, it closes up, and then the player can leave. And what we can actually do is this will send a signal, like a win signal, up to the top of the boss fight to signal that that counts as a win. And that's generally what the boss fight's gonna be. From here, I just added it on to the main roguelike, and with that, it's complete! Descendant is done! The roguelike is done! It's done! I can release it to the public! Ooh! So, ladies and gentlemen, finally introducing Descendant, now available for download in my Discord for free. All I did was simply obviously add this fantastic logo made by Hiri, and I also just added a bunch of signs and some command blocks just to help you skip the wait if you don't feel like waiting 20 minutes between runs. I have been so grateful for you guys being so interested in this series, because I've never done a multi-part video before, and making this large minigame has honestly been something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I'm so happy as how it's turned out, and I literally could not have done it without any of these people who I'm now showing on screen for making rooms or doing suggestions. It has been just fantastic putting this together. It's been a lot of work, but it's out now, and I cannot wait to see any gameplay videos you guys put out there playing this, or even modifications if you want to do it. It's up to you. If you upload a video of you playing this on YouTube, I'm really interested. Please at me in the description. I want to see gameplay videos of this. I want to see someone beat this. I want to do it. I want to see it. Ah! The last thing I'm doing with Descendant is I might do a live stream of me just playing some runs of my own game. That might be interesting, so maybe stay tuned for that. We'll see. I'm not exactly huge into live streaming, but, you know, it could be fun. On to the next minigame, because there's always minigames to be made. And I've noticed that Mojang has updated the chicken models recently, and I want to make snooker.